In the heart of Nigeria, nestled between towering baobab trees and whispering streams, lay the village of Ojuoro. It was a place steeped in tradition, where the old ways were honored and the spirits of the land were believed to walk among the living. The village lived in harmony with nature, their lives dictated by the rhythms of the earth. Ojuoro was known across the region for its vibrant festivals, where the drummers played rhythms that seemed to echo the heartbeat of the land, and dancers moved in ways that told stories of their ancestors. But among all the dancers, one stood out, a young woman called Adanna. Adanna was a mystery. She was not of Ojuoro blood, but arrived the village as an orphan many years ago. The elders had found her on the outskirts of the village, alone and afraid, with no memory of her past. They took her in, and she grew up among them. But there was always something different about her. From a young age, Adanna had an uncanny ability to dance. Her movements were unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Graceful, fluid, and mesmerizing. When she danced, it was as if the spirits themselves had descended to earth, moving through her body. The villagers were captivated by her performances, and soon she became known as the best dancer in all of Ojuoro. Her fame spread far beyond the village, and people traveled from distant lands just to watch her dance. They would gather in the village square, under the light of the full moon, to witness her perform. The drums would start, slowly at first, then building an intensity, and Adanna would take the stage, her feet moving in perfect harmony with the rhythm. But as the years went by, whispers began to circulate among the villagers. There was something unsettling about the way Adanna danced. She never practiced, never spoke of where she had learned her skills. The elders noticed that she never aged, remaining as youthful as the day they found her. And there were rumors, dark, unsettling rumors, that she was not entirely human. Despite their admiration, the villagers began to fear her. Some claimed to have seen strange things at night, shadows moving in the forest, whispers in the wind, and flickering lights that danced around Adanna's hut. The once welcoming smiles turned into suspicious glances, but no one dared confront her. After all, her dances were too beautiful, too powerful to question. One day, a stranger arrived in Ojuoro, a tall, imposing man with piercing eyes and a voice that commanded attention. He introduced himself as Duro Jaye, a man of many talents and a traveler who had seen so much of the world. He had heard of Adanna's fame and had come to witness her dance. The villagers, wary of outsiders, watched him closely. But Duro Jaye was unperturbed. That evening, under the light of the crescent moon, Adanna danced as she always did, with a grace that seemed to defy the laws of nature. But Duro Jaye watched her with a different gaze. His eyes narrowed as he observed her movements, and the villagers noticed a strange tension in the air. When the dance ended and the crowd dispersed, Duro Jaye approached Adanna. "You dance beautifully," he said, his voice low and steady. "But your movements, they are not of this world." Adanna's eyes flashed with something that might have been fear, but she quickly masked it with a smile. "I am but a humble dancer," she replied. her voice smooth and melodic. "The spirits of this land guides my steps," she said. Duro Jaiye nodded slowly, as if he had expected her answer. "The spirits, you say? And what do these spirits ask of you in return?" he asked her. At this, Adanna's smile faltered. "They ask nothing of me," she said, turning away, but Duro Jaiye was not convinced. Over the following days, Duro Jaiye stayed in Ojuoro, observing Adanna from a distance. He spoke with the elders, asking questions about her past, but they could provide little information. The more he learned, the more convinced he became that Adanna was hiding something dark. One night, while the village slept, Duro Jaiye crept to the edge of the forest, to the place where the elders had found Adanna all those years ago. There, under the cover of darkness, he performed a ritual known only to those who studied the ancient arts. The winds picked up, and the trees seemed to whisper secrets to him. In the shadows, he saw them, faint, flickering figures that danced around him. They were the spirits of the land, and they were angry. Duro Jaiye asked them about Adanna, and what they revealed chilled him to the bone. Adanna was not an ordinary dancer. She had made a pact with the spirits, an ancient forbidden pact that granted her extraordinary abilities in exchange for her soul. The spirits had taught her to dance, but they had also bound her to them, trapping her in an eternal youth. Every time she danced, she gave a piece of herself to the spirits, and in return, they kept her beautiful, powerful, and ageless. But the spirits were not benevolent. They were jealous, vengeful beings who resented the living. They had been using Adanna to sow discord in Ojuoro, feeding off the villagers' fear and admiration. The more they worshipped her, the more powerful the spirits became. Duro Jaiye knew he had to act quickly. He returned to the village and sought out the elders, revealing what he had learned. The elders were horrified, but they trusted Duro Jaiye's wisdom. Together, they devised a plan to free Adanna from the spirits' grasp. The next full moon, during the village's grandest festival, Duro Jaiye confronted Adanna in the village square. As the drum began to play, he stepped into the circle of dancers, his voice ringing out above the music. "Adanna, the time has come for the truth to be revealed," he shouted, his voice carrying across the square. The villagers gasped, their eyes fixed on the confrontation. Adanna's eyes flashed with anger, but there was also fear in them. "You do not understand," she hissed. "You cannot stop them." But Duro Jaiye was prepared. He drew a circle in the dirt, inscribing it with ancient symbols that glowed with an eerie light. "Spirits of the land," he called, "I command you to release her." The group trembled, and the wind howled as the spirits descended upon the square. They were angry, their forms swirling in the dark smoke, their voices filled with rage. Adanna fell to her knees, her body racked with pain as the spirits tried to pull her back into the darkness. But Duro Jaiye's circle held strong. The symbols glowed brighter, and the spirits screamed in fury as they were being forced back. With one final anguished cry, they released their hold on Adanna and disappeared into the night. Adanna collapsed to the ground, exhausted and weakened. The villagers ran to her side, but Durojaye held up a hand to stop them. "She is free now," he said softly, "but the cost has been great." Adanna's once youthful face was now lined with age. Her beauty faded. She looked up at Durojaye with tear-filled eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You have saved me," she said. Durojaye nodded solemnly. "The spirits will not trouble this village again, but the memory of their power will remain. Remember this and be wary of the bargains you make," he said. With that, Durojaye turned and left the village, disappearing into the night as mysteriously as he had arrived. The villagers never saw him again, but they spoke of him often, and of the woman who had once been the greatest dancer in all of Ojuoro. As for Adanna, she lived out the rest of her days in peace, free from the spirits that had once controlled her. She no longer danced, but the villagers remembered her story, passing it down through the generations as a cautionary tale of the dangers of dealing with forces beyond our understanding. And so, the mystery of the dancer of Ojuoro village became a legend, a story told around fires and whispered in the dark, a reminder that not all that glitters is gold, and that sometimes the most beautiful things are born out of the darkest secrets. Thank you for watching my story to the end. If you found this story interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos like this. Kindly share it to all your loved ones as well and help me grow. I will see you all in my next story. Bye for now.